Nice. Hello everybody, today we're gonna do a video of me filming this new glass enclosures and actually showing you, in my opinion, what the best beginner tarantula species is. So let's go. Okay, so we're gonna start first with, of course, Brachypelma genus, which is my second favorite genus in all the tarantula species that I have and the tarantula genus that I own. This is Brachypelma klaasi, one of my favorite Brachypelmas. It's just gorgeous spider. I think the common name is pink beauty. So let's see if it will eat. Of course it will. Gorgeous female. She ate quite recently, so her abdomen is kind of big, but she still wants to eat. And this is the type of enclosures I have them in. It's basically like a 10 centimeter or 15 of soil, a cork bark that it can hide in, a water dish, and that's basically it. I feed them once a month because it's a big female. It's like almost mature, so it doesn't eat food that regularly, you know. There's no point in feeding adult tarantulas more than they need. So once a month is my practice and I always do it, and it's just a classic spider. It doesn't want to dig, as you can see. The hole is not dug, and it was I made a pre-burrow for her and she basically filled it up, so there's no point in her even having a cork bark, but it's just a spider and I will basically have it with any species. So that's it. Let's move on to the second one. Okay, so I forgot to tell you, Brachypelma klaasi has been with me for I think 2 or 3 years, but she was from someone who kept her before me. That's basically it, and on the screen you can see how many times she molted, so that's the main thing I'm gonna put in this video, and Mr. Editor is also gonna edit in so you have context on how many times they molt, and it's not a lot of times, so that's what you can expect from Brachypelmas, basically slow growth and slow everything. So this is my female that I had the longest. It's Brachypelma hamorii, Mexican orange knee. Her name is Ash because when I got her, her colorations didn't quite fill in yet, and she was kind of brownish juvenile, so that's why she was Ash. She was kind of grayish brownish coloration, which is normal for a tarantula that size. She was about 5 centimeters when I got her. Now she's a fully adult size, so she will also eat, of course, no questions asked. Yeah, she is gorgeous spider. I love Brachypelma hamorii. They're very underrated in the hobby. They grow slow, but they are nice, steady, deserty type of tarantulas, which is recommended for beginners because they don't require that much moisture and it's just nicer. And as you can see, I'm gonna disturb her a little bit. You can just see its amount of dirt, but underneath this it's a cork bark that was not covered before, and she used to have a hide spot, but she moved all the dirt from underneath it or on top of it underneath it, so it's not a hide anymore, but that's her decision to do so. It's from here like all the way across the terrarium. She did used to have like a hide, but like most of the Brachypelmas that I have, she just covered it. So yeah, very happy with Ash, gorgeous spider. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, so next up is, I think, my favorite Brachypelma out of all of them, but not this spider. This is Brachypelma albiceps, Mexican golden red rump. She came with me at the time when Ash did, but she was bigger. She was like 11-12 centimeters. She was fully grown, but her problem is that she just doesn't usually eat at all, on camera or off camera at all. That means she's like bigger, and the spiders, when they're bigger, they don't require that you feed them that often, but she was never like, she never used to feed on camera, so I don't have high hopes for this. Okay, we're gonna try again with another roach. As you can see, this is typically her. There's nothing wrong with her, but she's not interested in food. She does have quite a nice abdomen, so maybe she's pre-molt, but I don't want to disturb her too much, so we're gonna move on to the next one. Okay, so next up is Brachypelma smithi. It's kind of the same as hamorii, but not really. As you can see, like you look at the footage back with the ash and the hamorii, the second knee part is a lot more orangey, and it's white, so that's the main difference. I'm just gonna give it a small one because she ate like 3 days ago and she doesn't really want it right now, but yeah, you can see her. She's gorgeous. I got her as a sling, so I didn't get her as an adult, and I think I had her for 4 years now, 5. I can look it up just a second, because you will see right now that that's why they are like maybe not as popular as they should be, because they grow really slow. So yeah, I got her in August 2021, so she is gonna be 5 years old this year, and she is, I think, like 8-9 centimeters in leg span. She's not the biggest, that's what I'm saying. She grows really, really slow, but she's a nice species to have. Also quite a uncommon species in hobby, because there were a lot of people who bred them incorrectly and bred them with hamories, and they made a whole mess of the genus because of that. But she's a gorgeous species, and it is a kind of an expensive species, because she is like about 25 to 30 euros as a sling, like as a 1 centimeter big spider, and that is quite a lot for me. I don't know how much money do you guys have, but 25 euros for one sling, and I got 2 of them back then, and one I sold to Matitz. And yeah, that's Brachypelma hamorii. Now let's move on to the next one. Okay, so next up we have Brachypelma baumgarteni, species that was discovered by my beloved videographer and tarantula expert and tarantula discoverer Andrew Smith. If you haven't watched his videos, please do, because it's awesome and you get a lot of education, and it's very cheap to get the documentaries. I think the documentaries on Love Tarantulas is like 2.5 euros each, and it took months for him to film it with his crew and everything, so I would recommend that you watch it. But let's feed Brachypelma baumgarteni with a kind of a big roach. I don't know if she's gonna eat, but let's try. Okay, she is gonna eat. Nice, lovely, lovely female. Yeah, again, like boehmei, which was really boehmei, boehmei, whatever you call it, but a little bit less red in the knees and the legs part. That's the main difference. But it's the price difference, again, with slings and everything, it's quite significant. What can I talk about more with Brachypelmas? What is their temperament? Basically, it's kind of the same. They are defensive species that in my opinion, at least my females don't really want to be handled at all. They just want their peace, their enclosure, and that's basically it. They don't really want to be disturbed. Again, I feed this one and smithi 3 times a month, 2 times, 3 times a month, it depends. Every 14 days basically, because they're smaller and they need the food. And she's just taking a stroll. Again, you can see in the left corner there is a cork bark which she covered with dirt. It was a hide before and she doesn't use it again. That's basically their thing. As with Smithy, I will show you her molting states. She is a little bit bigger than Smithy. I have no idea why, because they basically live in the same conditions, but she's a little bit bigger and she is a female. All of the Brachypelmas I'm showing you are females, and this one and Emilia, and which will be next, some of them I will tell you, but I did get them as links and grow them in like 5-year span, so gorgeous spider. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, so next up is Brachypelma emilia. Again, really nice spider. I had quite unfortunate events with this spider. I don't think I've told you the story of and if I did, excuse me. Basically, the first spider that I had, the bigger ones, I had another Brachypelma hamorii, and I sold it because I had to, and I didn't have space for more spiders than like a few. And then I bought Brachypelma emilia fully adult female that was so old and so like drained, because it was bought from like a Hungary breeder, Hungary, like the country breeder, that basically she died in 2 years, not 2 years, 2 months, 2-3 months, just died randomly. And wasn't the enclosure, because I had other spiders living in the enclosure at the time, and it was a harsh lesson that don't trust breeders at Expo that just sell random animal that you don't know much about, and also that you don't buy species or tarantulas that are fully grown, and maybe just buy a species or a spider that is not fully grown yet, and it will maybe be a better option because it can grow and you'll have it for longer. So let's feed this Emilia. Nice, nice footage, nice footage, really good. I have as you can tell by the difference, it's filmed with the camera and everything, and it's like nicely set up, so there's no more shakes and everything, and it's really good setup. So I'm really enjoying filming this, and it's much better footage than with a phone, even though it's like set to 4K. Phones can realistically film with 4K, but it's not made to film everything. So it's even it's like Samsung S24 Ultra, it doesn't have as nice as camera as this, so it's really nice. So yeah, let's move on to the next one. Okay, so next up is like the second to last, because I do have all of the Brachypelma species, as you can see, is Brachypelma boehmei. Boehmei, boehmei, whatever you call it, I just call it boehmei. Nice species. I don't think she will eat because she molted like less than a week ago, but let's try. Yeah, she's not interested. Oh, maybe, wait a sec. No, she's sending it away. Yeah, that's a response that it tells you just go away. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about Brachypelma boehmei, because as you maybe, if you're an older viewer, you know that I used to have a Brachypelma boehmei that was gigantic. It was like 17 centimeters, 18 big, but last year I decided to sold her because she was a gigantic bitch. Every time I opened the enclosure and everything, she would just kick hairs. She was not eating very often, and she was just generally not a nice tarantula. And I had a buyer, I sold her, not for a big profit or anything, but I just got a smaller one. And there she is. So nice species, and it'll in a few years grow into a bigger one. And now I think she molted, like I have her for almost a year and she molted for the first time. So yeah, let's move on to the last Brachypelma. Okay, so we're filming the last Brachypelma auratum. Again, this whole mount here was a cork bark, and then she kind of buried it. But I do see an old mold here that I know when it's from, so let's see if she'll eat. Of course she'll eat. She is a weird case in my opinion, because she was bought at the same time as Brachypelma baumgarteni and smithi, but she grew to exponentially rate. Like her growth rate was so much bigger than the smaller Brachypelmas that I showed you before, and I was like 100% sure it's a male. It's 100% a male, and I do have the male that came with her as a sling, and he's half the size, but she is 1000% a female. From like everything, from the molds and everything, she is 100% a female. Just her growth rate is like gigantic, big and really fast. So yeah, but she's just a nice spider. So what else is there more to say about Brachypelmas? Nice beginner spiders, don't need much moisture. The enclosure should be like in the size of 30 by 30 by 30 centimeters. They don't need that much height, and also like Brachypelma auratum and Brachypelma boehmei can maybe get like 40 by 40 by 40 because they're a little bit bigger, but generally 30 by 30 by 30 is good enough. As slings, feed them once a week. You don't need to moisture the enclosure once a week when they eat. And when they stop eating, you know, they're gonna molt, so you can wait a couple of weeks after the molt. And then when they get to the size about 5 centimeters, feed them every 2 weeks. And then as they go on and on, 15, like adult size, feed them once every month. And that's basically it. That's why I like them, because they are colorful, they're very diverse. They're black and reddish orange colorations, but for beginners I think there's not a lot of species that are better in that way. So yeah, that's my Brachypelma collection. I do own all of them, and in next video we will explore a genus that I think it's also really good for beginners, but they're not as colorful as these are, so maybe that's the reason why they're not so popular. But yeah, we're gonna end this video with this spider. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, smash a like, comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next video next week. Bye bye.